An American student in Germany met local students. "How much is tuition?" she asked. The German seemed confused. "Tuition?" the American confirmed. "Yes, yearly." The German smiled. "It's free." The American looked shocked. "Free?" The Germans nodded. "No tuition fees." The American seemed baffled. "How?" The Germans explained, "Tax-funded." The American looked stunned. "That's impossible." The Germans replied, "Very possible here." The American couldn't believe. The American pressed for details. "Completely free?" The Germans confirmed. "Yes." The American asked, "What about books?" The Germans said, "You buy those?" The American continued, "Housing?" The Germans noted, "Pay yourself." The American insisted, "But tuition?" The Germans smiled. €0. The American looked devastated. "I pay 50,000. The Germans seemed shocked. "Per year?" The American nodded sadly. I watched an American in Norway learn about education. "University costs nothing?" he asked. Norwegian students confirmed. "Nothing." The American seemed confused. "How do they survive?" The students explained, "Government funding." The American argued, "Must be low quality." The students disagreed. "World-class education." The American insisted, "Free means bad." The students smiled. "Norway ranks highest." The American looked confused. The students tried explaining Norwegian system. "Taxes fund education." The American argued, "Taxes are theft." The students disagreed. "Taxes are investment." The American insisted, "People should pay." The students noted, "Society benefits." The American said, "Sounds socialist?" The students smiled. "Sounds smart." The American looked offended. "That's communism." The students replied, "That's education." The American seemed genuinely confused by logic. An American family in Finland visited university. "What's tuition?" the father asked. Finnish students seemed puzzled. "No tuition." The mother looked shocked. "None?" The students confirmed. "Free for everyone." The father argued, "Someone pays." The students agreed. "Taxpayers do." The mother insisted, "That's unfair." The students disagreed. "Very fair." The father said, "We pay thousands." The students seemed sad. "We're sorry." The family looked devastated today. The family pressed for understanding. "How is quality?" The students said, "Excellent." The father seemed skeptical. "Really?" The students confirmed. "Top rankings." The mother argued, "Free means inferior." The students disagreed. "Free means accessible." The father insisted, "You get what you pay." The students smiled. "We get education." The mother looked confused. "Without debt?" The students nodded. "Without debt." The family seemed shocked by concept entirely. I overheard an American in Sweden complain loudly. "This can't be real," she said. Swedish students seemed amused. "It's real." The American insisted, "University costs money." The students disagreed. "Not here." The American argued, "Everywhere costs." The students smiled. "Not in Sweden." The American looked frustrated. "How much debt?" The students said, "None." The American seemed devastated. "I owe hundreds." The students tried explaining Swedish model. "Education is right." The American disagreed. "Education is privilege." The students corrected, "Human right here." The American insisted, "Nothing is free." The students agreed. "Taxes pay it." The American argued, "That's forced payment." The students smiled. "That's society working." The American said, "Sounds like theft." The students replied, "Sounds like progress." The American looked offended by their perspective today entirely. An American student in Denmark discovered free tuition. "No cost?" she asked. Danish students confirmed. "No cost." The American seemed panicked. "I have loans." The students seemed sympathetic. "How much?" The American said, $80,000? The students looked horrified. That's insane. The American agreed. It's normal. The students disagreed. It's terrible. The American looked sad. I didn't know better. The Danish students explained their system. Everyone deserves education. The American argued, someone must pay. The students agreed. Society pays. The American insisted, that's socialism. The students smiled. That's Denmark. The American said, America is different. The students noted, America charges students. The American looked defensive. For quality. The students replied, we have quality. The American seemed less certain now. I watched an American in France learn about universities. Tuition is what? He asked. French students said, almost nothing. The American looked confused. How much? The students said, few hundred yearly. The American seemed shocked. Total? The students confirmed. Total. The American said, I pay 30,000. The students looked horrified. Per year? The American nodded. The students seemed genuinely sad for him today completely now. The American pressed for explanation. How is this possible? The students explained, public funding. The American argued, taxes too high. The students disagreed. Worth it. The American insisted people should choose. The students noted, we choose education. The American said, by force? The students smiled. By democracy. The American looked confused. That's different? The students replied, very different. The American seemed to reconsider his position slowly. An American family in Scotland visited universities. How much per year? The mother asked. Scottish students seemed confused. You mean living costs? The father said, no, tuition. The students smiled. Tuition is free. The mother looked shocked. Free? The students confirmed. For Scottish students. The father argued, someone pays. The students agreed. Government does. The mother seemed devastated. We're bankrupt. The students tried helping them understand. Education shouldn't create debt. The father disagreed. Debt builds character. The students looked shocked. Debt builds stress. The mother insisted, we chose loans. The students noted, system force you. The father argued, personal responsibility. The students smiled. Societal responsibility. The mother said, that's radical. The students replied, that's normal. The father looked less convinced. I overheard an American in Netherlands discover free education. No tuition? She asked. Dutch students corrected, very low. The American seemed hopeful. How low? The students said, 2,000 yearly. The American looked disappointed. That's still money. The students seemed confused. That's nothing. The American argued, I pay 40,000. The students looked horrified. That's robbery. The American agreed sadly. The students explained Dutch perspective. Education is investment. The American disagreed. Education is business. The students looked sad. That's wrong approach. The American insisted, market decides value. The students noted, society decides value. The American argued competition improves quality. The students smiled. Cooperation improves access. The American said, that's idealistic. The students replied, that's working. The American looked confused entirely. An American student in Austria learned shocking truth. University is free? He asked. Austrian students confirmed. Completely free. The American seemed devastated. I borrowed 60,000. The students looked sympathetic. That's terrible. The American agreed. It's crushing. The students said, come study here. The American asked, can I? The students nodded. Yes. The American looked hopeful. Really? The students confirmed. Many Americans do. The American smiled. The students explained Austrian system kindly. Education should be accessible. The American agreed. But how afford? The students said tax revenue. The American argued, taxes are high. The students noted, but no debt. The American paused. That's true. The students smiled. Better system. The American admitted maybe so. The students said definitely so. The American looked thoughtful about his future. I watched an American in Iceland discover university costs. Nothing? She asked. Icelandic students confirmed. Just registration fee. The American seemed hopeful. How much? The students said few hundred. The American looked relieved. That's affordable. The students agreed. Very affordable. The American said, I'm drowning in debt. The students seemed sad. American system broken. The American nodded. Completely broken. The students offered, stay here. The American smiled. I might. The students said, you should. The American looked hopeful. The students explained Icelandic values. Education is human right. The American agreed. Should be. The students continued, not privilege. The American nodded. Makes sense. The students smiled. Iceland understands. The American said, America doesn't. The students replied, America profits. The American looked sad. From students. The students agreed. That's wrong. The American said, very wrong. The students offered support today. An American family in Belgium discovered low tuition. How much? The father asked. Belgian students said €1,000. The mother looked shocked. Per year? The students confirmed. Yes. The father seemed confused. That's nothing. The students agreed. Very affordable. The mother said, our son pays 50,000. The students looked horrified. That's criminal. The father agreed. Feels criminal. The students seemed genuinely sympathetic for their situation. The students tried explaining Belgian system. Education is public good. The father argued, but costs money. The students agreed. Government covers it. The mother insisted, through taxes. The students confirmed. Yes. The father said, that's socialism. The students smiled. That's Belgium. The mother looked thoughtful. Maybe socialism works. The father seemed shocked. Did you just? The mother nodded. Maybe it does. The students smiled at progress. I overheard an American in Czech Republic learn truth. University is free? He asked. Czech students confirmed. For citizens. The American seemed curious. What about foreigners? The students said still cheap. The American asked, how cheap? The students said few thousand yearly. The American looked amazed. That's nothing. The students agreed. Very affordable. The American seemed thoughtful about studying abroad. The students explained Czech education system. Quality education for all. The American agreed. Good goal. The students continued, without debt burden. The American nodded. Makes sense. The students smiled. Czech Republic succeeds. The American said, America fails. The students replied, different priorities. The American looked sad. Wrong priorities. The students agreed. Profit over people. The American seemed disappointed in country. An American student in Poland discovered affordability. How much tuition? She asked. Polish students said free for Poles. The American seemed curious. For foreigners? The students said few thousand. The American looked hopeful. Total? The students confirmed. Per year. The American smiled. That's affordable. The students agreed. Very affordable. The American said, I'm transferring. The students laughed. Many do. The American looked excited about possibility now. The students explained Polish perspective. Education builds society. The American agreed. Should be. The students continued, not profit center. The American nodded. Makes sense. The students smiled. Poland understands. The American said, I'm jealous. The students replied, come study here. The American looked determined. I will. The students said, welcome. The American felt hopeful. I watched an American in Greece learn about education. Free university? He asked. Greek students confirmed. Yes. The American seemed shocked. How? The students explained, public funding. The American argued, Greece has problems. The students agreed. Economic ones. The American continued, yet free education? The students smiled. Still free. The American looked confused. That's backwards. The students replied, that's priorities. The American seemed thoughtful about that. The students explained Greek values. Education remains sacred. The American argued, but expensive. The students disagreed. Worth cost. The American insisted, your economy crashed. The students noted education didn't. The American looked puzzled. How? The students said different budgets. The American seemed confused. Still don't understand. The students smiled. Value over profit. The American looked thoughtful about different priorities now. The students explained Greek values. Education remains sacred. The American argued, but expensive. The students disagreed. Worth cost. The American insisted, your economy crashed. The students noted education didn't. The American looked puzzled. How? The students said different budgets. The American seemed confused. Still don't understand. The students smiled. Value over profit. The American looked thoughtful about different priorities now. The students tried explaining Spanish system. Education is right. The father argued, rights cost money. The students disagreed. Society covers cost. The mother said, through taxes. The students confirmed. Yes. The father looked thoughtful. Maybe that works. The mother agreed. Seems to. The students smiled. It does. The family looked thoughtful about their beliefs. I overheard an American in Portugal discover free education. No tuition? She asked. Portuguese students corrected, very low. The American seemed hopeful. How low? The students said, €1,000. The American looked relieved. That's manageable. The students agreed. Very manageable. The American said, I owe 100,000. The students looked horrified. That's insane. The American nodded. It is. The students seemed genuinely sad for her today. The students explained Portuguese values. Education for everyone. The American agreed. Should be. The students continued, without crushing debt. The American nodded. Makes sense. The students smiled. Portugal succeeds. The American said, America fails. The students replied, different systems. The American looked sad. Wrong system. The students agreed. Profit-driven. The American seemed disappointed. An American student in Slovenia learned truth. Free university? He asked. Slovenian students confirmed. For citizens. The American seemed curious. What about exchange students? The students said, also free? The American looked shocked. Really? The students nodded. Yes. The American seemed amazed. That's incredible. The students agreed. Slovenia welcomes students. The American looked excited. I'm applying. The students smiled. Good choice. The American felt hopeful today. The students explained Slovenian perspective. Education builds future. The American agreed. Definitely. The students continued, investment not expense. The American nodded. Smart thinking. The students smiled. Slovenia thinks long-term. The American said, America thinks profit. The students replied, short-term thinking. The American looked sad. Very short. The students seemed sympathetic about American system. I watched an American in Estonia discover digital education. Free and online? She asked. Estonian students confirmed. Yes. The American seemed amazed. How? The students explained, digital infrastructure. The American argued, that costs money. The students agreed. Investment made. The American looked confused. Still free? The students smiled. For students, yes. The American seemed baffled. That's incredible. The students replied, that's Estonia. The American looked impressed. The students explained Estonian innovation. Technology enables access. The American agreed. Makes sense. The students continued free for all. The American nodded. Democratic. The students smiled. Exactly right. The American said, wish America did. The students replied, maybe someday. The American looked doubtful. Probably not. The students offered, study here. The American considered seriously. An American family in Latvia discovered affordable education. How much tuition? The father asked. Latvian students said, very low. The mother seemed hopeful. How low? The students said, few thousand. The father looked relieved. That's manageable. The students agreed. Very affordable. The mother said, we're broke. The students looked sympathetic. American system terrible. The father nodded. Absolutely terrible. The students seemed sad for them today entirely. The students explained Latvian system. Education should be accessible. The father agreed. It should. The students continued, not debt trap. The mother nodded. Makes sense. The students smiled. Latvia succeeds. The father said, we're trapped. The students replied, system traps you. The mother looked sad. True. The students offered, come here. The family considered. I overheard an American in Lithuania finally understand. So most Europe free? He asked. Lithuanian students confirmed. Mostly yes. The American seemed devastated. I didn't know. The students noted, most Americans don't. The American said, we're lied to. The students agreed. By system. The American looked angry. Feel cheated. The students seemed sympathetic. Understandable feeling. The American said, what now? The students replied, spread awareness. The American nodded. I will. The students smiled. Good. The American felt determined. The students offered final perspective. Education shouldn't enslave. The American agreed. Never should. The students continued, it should liberate. The American nodded. Exactly. The students smiled. That's the difference. The American said, huge difference. The students replied, choose differently. The American looked determined. I'll try. The students encouraged, you can. The American felt empowered. An American student in Croatia discovered options. Free for foreigners? She asked. Croatian students confirmed. Very affordable. The American seemed hopeful. How much? The students said, few thousand. The American looked excited. I'm transferring. The students smiled. Many do. The American asked, good quality? The students confirmed. Excellent quality. The American seemed thrilled. This is life-changing. The students agreed. It is. The American felt free today. The students explained Croatian benefits. Quality education, low cost. The American seemed amazed. Best combination. The students agreed. Very attractive. The American said, escaping debt. The students smiled. Good choice. The American looked grateful. Thank you? The students replied, you're welcome. The American felt hope. The students said, start fresh. The American nodded. I will. The students encouraged her today. I watched an American in Budapest reflect deeply. We're being exploited, he said. Hungarian students agreed. American system profits. The American continued, from our futures. The students nodded. It's wrong. The American said, feel betrayed. The students seemed sympathetic. Understandable. The American asked, why don't we change? The students said, corporate interests. The American looked sad. Money rules. The students agreed. Unfortunately. The American felt angry. The students offered perspective. Change is possible. The American seemed doubtful. How? The students said, collective action. The American nodded. Makes sense. The students continued, demand better system. The American agreed. We should. The students smiled. Start now. The American looked determined. I will. The students encouraged, tell others. The American promised. I'll spread word. The students seemed hopeful today. An American family in Bratislava discovered truth. Education should be free? The mother asked. Slovak students confirmed. Yes. The father seemed thoughtful. Makes sense. The students agreed. Basic right. The mother nodded. We've been fooled. The students replied, system fooled you. The father said, feels stupid. The students disagreed. System is stupid. The mother looked relieved. Not our fault. The students confirmed. Never was. The family felt enlightened today about reality now. The students explained Slovak perspective. Society benefits from education. The father agreed. Of course. The students continued, so society should fund. The mother nodded. Logical. The students smiled. Exactly. The father said, America backwards. The students replied, profit-focused. The mother looked sad. We're victims. The students agreed. Of system. The family understood finally. I overheard an American in Vilnius share revelation. Everyone should know this, she said. Lithuanian students agreed. Yes. The American continued, free education exists. The students confirmed. In many places. The American said, life-changing knowledge. The students smiled. Spread the word. The American promised. I will. The students encouraged, help others. The American nodded. My mission. The students seemed pleased. Good. The American felt purpose. The students offered encouragement. Change takes time. The American agreed. But starts now. The students smiled. Exactly right. The American said, thanks for teaching. The students replied, you're welcome. The American looked grateful. Feel enlightened. The students said, share knowledge. The American promised. I'll tell everyone. The students nodded. That's how change begins. The American felt empowered by truth today.